I cannot believe it took me this long to do this. I'm not nearly secretive about the fact that my favorite food comes from Korea, and specifically my favorite food experience is Korean barbecue, and even more specifically within that, my favorite singular food item is bulgogi. There's just something about that thinly sliced yet super flavorful ribeye, really quickly marinated with Korean flavorings and then grilled to perfection. This is one of the first things I ever adopted into my cooking rotation when I started cooking, and it's so easy I think everyone should try it. Of course, to make this resemble more of a Korean barbecue experience, I'm also going to go through a few homemade banchan, which is Korean side dishes. These are typically served with most Korean foods and they really complete the meal. There's obviously dozens of these and the possibilities are endless, but I'm just going to go through a few of my favorites. But I'll start with the star of the show, which is bulgogi, which means fire meat in Korean. I usually get about 4 servings using a half kilo or a little more than a pound of ribeye. You can use any cut of beef, but this one's the best in my opinion, and you should also get it sliced really thinly to keep it tender, which my local Korean market conveniently does for me. It's frozen and ready to go. Shout out to doenjang market. Anyway, all we have to do is make a simple marinade for this. I've never measured anything that I put in here because it's pretty forgiving, but I'll put some estimates below. Starting with my aromatic paste, which is very common for Korean barbecue meats. Into my food processor, I'm going to add about 1/4 of a medium yellow onion, which I kind of chopped up roughly, along with about 5 cloves of garlic, a couple inch long knob of ginger. Actually, this one is a little too big because I tasted it too much in the final dish. And then finally, about 1/2 of a chopped Korean pear. This is a specialty item that you can find at most Asian markets, especially this time of year. I buy a few at a time and then chop them up and freeze them for convenience. But if you don't have this, you can use an apple or a regular pear and they'll work fine. Ripping all these apart in the food processor is going to allow their flavors to come out more intensely and more quickly, which is important because you don't want to marinate this for too long. So I dump that into a bowl and then I'm adding a couple of tablespoons of soy sauce and then about half that amount in dark soy sauce because I like the color that it adds to the cooked beef. A teaspoon or 2 of sesame oil, don't overdo this one. And this isn't traditionally added to bulgogi, but I'm adding a small spoonful of gochujang. The tiny bit of fermented spice is really nice in my opinion. A couple of tablespoons each of brown sugar and corn syrup. Honey works as well. Then just a good bit of freshly ground black pepper and the whites from about 3 scallions chopped up. Mix that together and you can taste it here for seasoning. It should just taste kind of like a Korean barbecue sauce.
Beef on the barbie.
Really, as long as you don't overdo the sesame oil or ginger like I did, you'll be fine. Add in your beef slices, just a couple at a time just to make sure everything gets coated. And then I personally like to finish with about 1/2 of a yellow onion thinly sliced. I love how the onion slices caramelize when you mix everything with the beef on the grill. I just cover that and let it sit for at least 30 minutes, but no more than a few hours. I've done this overnight before and it just tears apart the beef. The enzymes in the Korean pear just over tenderize it if you let it sit for too long. But when you're ready to go, just get a flat top griddle or cast iron or grill or whatever heated up. The hotter the better so we can get nicer browning on our beef. I just add a little bit at a time with some of the sliced onions, flip it and stir it every minute or so just to get even cooking, and this should take no longer than like 3 to 4 minutes. Overcooked beef is going to be tough, so just keep an eye on it. Also, if your heat is too low, you'll get beef that's cooked through, but it won't have those charred bits on the outside, which are the best parts. Just top with a few sesame seeds and green onions, and this is one of the quickest and easiest ways to flavor town that you'll ever have. But this is truly not a meal until we serve it with some Korean side dishes, some of Korea's best gifts to the planet. If you really don't feel like making anything with it, you can serve it with some store-bought kimchi and fresh rice, which I've done many times, but you won't get as many servings out of the beef. So when you have the time, here's a few things that you can add on the side that you'll be happy with. So I'm going to start with my favorite dipping sauce, which is called Ssamjang, which you can find in these green containers next to the gochujang at your Asian market. And I honestly buy it more often than I make it, but I promise you it's so easy to make at home and the flavor is at least 10 times better. Again, this is something that you shouldn't measure, you should go by taste, but I'll leave some estimates below. The base of this is doenjang and gochujang, which respectively are soybean and chili paste. I use about 2 parts of doenjang to 1 part gochujang, and then I add a small splash of sesame oil and a few sesame seeds for that distinct flavor. And for a little extra texture, I'm adding a few pine nuts just because I have them, and then a little splash of corn syrup, but again, honey works as well. Lastly, just a small handful of diced yellow onion, but instead of putting that right in, I'm going to add it first to a strainer and rinse that off for a few seconds under cold water. That'll take away a lot of that pungent flavor that you get from raw onions. But that goes in followed by a clove of minced garlic, and that's it. I don't add any extra salt to this because there's a lot in the doenjang and in the rest of the food that we're going to be eating. But taste this and add anything else that you need, but you should love this. Alright, I'll try to breeze through the rest of the side dishes. Next up is Ssam Mu, or pickled radish. Do this at least a day ahead if possible because the flavors are better. But I'm washing and peeling a Korean radish, or daikon, and then using a mandolin to make pretty thin slices of it. And then my pickling liquid is equal parts of white vinegar and water. I'm using the 2 mason jars that I'm storing this in to measure that. And then a few tablespoons, maybe 50 grams of white sugar, a nice hefty pinch of salt, and a couple of star anise pods. Just put that over high heat until it's boiling and then pour it over your radishes in the mason jars. Let that cool slightly and refrigerate. Again, it's better after a day or even a few days, but use whatever time you have. Next up is maybe my favorite side dish, Sigeumchi Namul, or seasoned spinach. I'm dumping an 8-ounce bag of spinach leaves into boiling water, only for like 30 seconds to blanch them and wither them, and then shock them directly into an ice bath. When it's cool enough to handle, just take it out and squeeze all the water out that you can, and then ball it up, and then I chop it into about 4 pieces. And then into a bowl, I'm adding 1 chopped scallion and then 1 clove of minced garlic, and then a splash each of soy sauce and sesame oil, a few sesame seeds, and then I like to add a pinch of gochugaru or Korean chili flakes for color and spice. Mix all that together and this is one of the best salads that you'll ever eat. Seriously, one of my favorites. And then last but not least is kongnamul muchim, which is bean sprout salad. This is going to be pretty similar to the spinach salad, but it'll have different textures and the bean sprouts have a little different flavor. So to a pot of water, I'm going to add a few handfuls of bean sprouts and then some carrot matchsticks for color contrast. Bring that to a boil and then cover and continue boiling for like 5 more minutes. Strain all that off and then add it to a bowl. We're again going to add 1 chopped scallion and 1 clove of minced garlic, a splash of soy and sesame oil, and a few sesame seeds. There are ways to make this spicy, but I'm keeping everything pretty mild here because a couple of the other side dishes are spicy. But once that's all mixed together, you have your final side dish. There's nothing like the watery crunch of bean sprouts. They're some of my favorite things. To round out my spread, I have some store-bought kimchi like I mentioned earlier. It's just too much work for me to make on my own, but I'd like to try it someday. And then I have some ochingojot or tokal. It's a spicy seasoned squid that I tried on my channel a couple months ago, and I have it in my freezer for events like this. I do have a small bowl of sliced garlic because I like it for my lettuce wraps, which speaking of, I have some green leaf lettuce that I've washed and have on the side. Don't forget to make some white rice on the side, and you can throw a nice dinner party for a group of friends, or if you're like me, for yourself. Korean barbecue is obviously all about the community, eating from the same plates of food at the middle of the table, and just enjoying all the different flavors that you have in front of you. But all those things can still be done when you're by yourself, and nothing tastes better than some peace and quiet in my opinion. But this is just great. There's just something about having all these different types of variety in front of you, and most of the time you're gonna have more than one barbecue meat with you, but I just made beef this time. I don't know, your standard American meal is gonna have your main protein and then maybe a side vegetable and a side carb. Not to say we don't have variety and different types of meals that have variety, but this Korean barbecue experience is one of my favorite things like I've mentioned already, and I'm so glad that I've got to experience it in Korea and in the Koreatown in New Jersey that I visited last year, and even in the non-authentic Korean barbecue restaurants that I have near me. It's just a good time. So with that said, I'll take you right to the taste test. So I figured since I'm eating this style of food, why not taste test at an actual table? Yeah, this really is my favorite food of all time. If I had to eat one thing for the rest of my life, this would always be it. Brings back so many good memories from my trip to Korea, but also my trip to New York City and just Korean barbecue restaurants that I've eaten elsewhere. As a martial artist, you know I love the culture and I just love everything about this. So I'm gonna start with just a little bit of the bulgogi by itself first. 잘 먹겠습니다. Oh yeah. Every flavor combination that you could possibly want in a food. All the best from sweetness, savory, sour, umami, a little bit of spicy. This is just perfect. But I'm going to show you the superior way to eat this. So you just grab a big clean lettuce leaf, just a tiny bit of the meat inside, you don't need a lot. And then of course some of the homemade Samjang. This is the star of the show here, my favorite. I like to add a thinly sliced piece of garlic to mine as well, and just a little bit of rice. Typical American thing to do would be to add too much to this to where you can't eat it in one bite, but these are meant to be eaten as one bite. So you just fold it up and go in. Yeah, that just puts you in heaven. So good. I'm often way too lazy to make the Samjang on my own. I often just buy the cartons of it. But as always, homemade is always better, and it's less wasteful because I already have the doenjang and the gochujang with me. I'm gonna try to convert myself to do this every time. As if the beef and lettuce wraps weren't enough, we have all the side dishes to try, which I'll run through really quick. I love Ssam Mu. I mean, yeah, if you like pickles, you're gonna love this. It's a great palate cleanser in between bites, and it's a little sweet, so it's really good. Of course, you've got your kimchi. It's on my bucket list to make this someday, but the store-bought stuff, at least for my Asian market, is too good. Just one of the goated foods there. I've already tried this bulgogi on my channel, but it's always good to have again. Normally I like to have fish cakes with my banchan, but I don't have any today. So having some kind of seafood element is really necessary. That super salty umami punch. It's really good. I'm running out of adjectives to say, but here is my Sigeumchi Namul. Yeah, that's just a good salad to have on your own. One of my absolute favorite things to eat. And last but not least, the kongnamul muchim. Really similar flavor profile to the spinach, but the bean sprouts have their own flavor, so I just like this on its own as well. So of course, Korean barbecue is usually meant to be shared with friends, but there's nothing wrong with a little self-love and having this on your own like I'm doing today. The whole eating experience is just amazing. It's very therapeutic and familial, and since I discovered it, I'm just so happy to have it as a part of my life. Definitely gonna get back to Korea soon so I can do this for real again. But there's a ton more side dishes that I didn't make here that I also love, and a ton more different Korean barbecue meats, but it's just impossible to get to all of them in one video. So I hope this at least gives you a little idea of what you'd be getting yourself into. Even if you don't want to make something like this, go to a Korean barbecue restaurant and see how much you'd enjoy it. But I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have any thoughts below. Thank you all for watching, be blessed, and I'll see you next time. It's all worth the 13-hour flight, trust me.